Hi guys, it's been a minute. Today I'm going to be switching gears and talking about an NJ type, the ENFJ personality type. I have 3 close male ENFJ friends in my life, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about some of my thoughts on this personality type and how we are similar and how we are different. The 3 ENFJs that I discussed in this video have all taken the MBTI tests and have been typed. I primarily won't discuss a type unless they've actually taken the test. So if you hear me talk about different people, I'm not just calling them an ENFP or an ENTP or an ENFJ. All the people I discuss have taken the test and all say that the temperament is accurate for them. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of the ENFJ personality type is that they tend to be efficient machines. My brother has always been extremely disciplined, very organized. Even when he was little, he seemed to have such a discipline to him, my mom would always say. And he typically has his days planned out from when he wakes up to when he goes to sleep. And he primarily likes to be out with people. ENFJs are one of the more extrovert types. They primarily like to be with people. They can be alone as well, but my brother and my 2 other ENFJ male friends typically like to be out with people. They like to be out and about. They're usually with groups or small groups. I think they have a harder time being alone. I don't know if that's necessarily true for all ENFJs, but I know the ones that I know typically don't enjoy being alone for long periods of time. When my brother was little, he couldn't even be in the house for like 2 hours by himself without getting pretty antsy or anxious. And typically if he was home alone at all, he would call me, my mom, and say, "Hey, where are you guys? When are you coming home? I'm alone." And so I think ENFJs do really enjoy being with people. ENFJs really understand people well because of their dominant FE function. They tend to understand group dynamics very well, and they understand the energy of the group, and they really know how to rally groups of people together. Every ENFJ that I have met show very, very strong leadership skills. My brother, no matter what setting he's in, he typically becomes the leader of the group just naturally. People naturally tend to look at him for direction and a plan and what they're doing. And this has been the theme for his whole life. From whenever I could remember, he's always been that way. This past summer, we traveled to Europe, and he was in a study abroad group. And in the group, people were always looking towards him for direction and a plan. Any kind of outing they had or anything they were going to do that way, or if they were traveling somewhere throughout the city, they would kind of rely on my brother to have a plan and to lead them. And so that's something that ENFJs really thrive in. They're great leaders. They really love people and they understand people. They're very much, I believe, well liked by people. All the ENFJs that I know tend to be very well liked in groups of people because they know how to interact with people. They know, how to pull out people's strengths and how to highlight what they're good at. And it's a really wonderful quality that they have about them. Because of these qualities, I think ENFJs would be really good in like management positions where they're managing groups of people because they understand group dynamics so well. I also could see ENFJs becoming life coaches because similarly to the INFJ, they're very much about personal growth, not only in themselves but in others. One of the weaknesses that it states in the MBTI description for the ENFJ is that they have to be careful in not always being so externally focused, and they have the potential to kind of neglect themselves and not take care of themselves. I think this might be true to a degree, but all of the ENFJs that I know are very much take very good care of themselves. In fact, all 3 of the ENFJ males I know are very much into like their physical physique. They like working out. They're all into health, taking care of themselves. I don't know if that's true for all ENFJs, but the 3 male friendships I have, they're all into working out and health and fitness. A few of you throughout my videos, I think 2, maybe 3 people, have actually suggested that maybe I was an ENFJ. And although I can see how I would maybe appear as an ENFJ in my videos, typically because I am exuding a lot more FE in my videos, mainly because I'm talking to people, and so that function typically tends to be pulled out a lot more than it would be in real life. And although I do see some similarities in our type, I am so introverted that there's just no way that I could be an ENFJ. If you guys knew me in real life, I like to be alone most of the time, don't do really well in big groups, get super drained. Typically, I love to be at home, love to read, love to write. So the introvert in me is very, very high. So although I can see where you might conclude that, just personally knowing myself, I'm way too much of an introvert to be an ENFJ. Whenever I take any type of personality test, I always score very, very high on the introvert preference and on the introvert percentage. In fact, two of my ENFJs friends would probably laugh if you suggested I was an ENFJ. One of the dynamics in our friendship, which is really funny, is that my two close ENFJ male friends would say, "What are you doing? Are you sitting at home reading? Are you on the couch? Have you been alone all day?" And I would say, "Yeah, you caught me. I've been alone all day." And so these particular friends would usually call me up and try to get me to go out, and I would go different places with them, like parties or something. In fact, that's really one of the things that I love about ENFJs is because of their extroverted feeling. They really pay attention to like my moods when I'd go places. I remember going different like outings with my two ENFJ friends, like we'd be in a big group or like some small party. And they would intuitively check in with me a lot, and they would know whenever I felt overwhelmed or if I was getting really drained. Both of them would kind of look at me in the crowd, and because of their extroverted feeling function, they'd be like, "You're really drained, aren't you? You're tired, you're ready to go." And they would just intuitively know that I needed to leave. And so that was something that I really enjoyed about my ENFJ friends. They kind of would watch out for me, and they're very in tune with like my needs and like very aware of when I was kind of getting drained in an extroverted setting. ENFJs have the same cognitive functions as the INFJ, but the difference is that our functions are in different orders. Now, a lot of people get confused because if they think if you have the same cognitive functions that you're going to be like the person that has similar cognitive functions as you. And yes, that's true, but depending on the order of the cognitive functions, it can actually make your personality type a lot different. So ENFJs have extroverted feeling, introverted intuition second, extroverted sensing third, and introverted thinking fourth, which is different from the INFJ, and how we move through those functions is very different. One of the things I notice is ENFJs tend to be a lot more present than I am. I tend to live in my introverted intuition world quite a bit. Even in group settings, I can come off and appear a little bit aloof and not present and kind of like I'm daydreaming a lot. I haven't noticed that ENFJs quite appear that way, the way that I do, and I think it's because their introverted intuition function is second and their extroverted feeling function is first. So they're a lot more present, they're a lot more engaged with people, whereas I tend to be a little bit more off in my in-high worlds, daydreaming, thinking about concepts and the abstract worlds. One of the other funny things that I noticed about ENFJs and INFJs is that because ENFJs have their extroverted sensing function third and INFJs have their extroverted sensing function fourth, ENFJs tend to be a lot better with extroverted sensing than I am. They don't appear as ditzy, or they're much more aware of physical things in their environment, whereas I tend to be really unaware of physical things in my environment. Like I'm way more likely to leave a drawer open or not catch something physical that's in the room. Whereas the ENFJ, even though their function's third, they're much better extroverted sensing than I am. In fact, my brother will actually pick up and kind of make fun of my lack of extroverted sensing skills. He is way more likely to pick something up or see something in the room and like things organized, where I tend to be a little bit more unaware. And I'm not really sure why that is, because his extroverted sensing is third and mine's fourth, but even just that slight difference makes a big difference in our type. And just again to repeat, the more ENFJs engage people, the more energized they get. the more INFJs engage people, the more drained they get, which is the case for me. My brother, as well as my two other friends, typically have larger groups of friends than I do. My brother has just, tons of different friends. He also has close friends too, but he's much more able to manage a set of close friends, and then he's able to have a set of very large group of people that are just kind of not maybe as close as his close group of friends, but he's able to have both dynamics of lots of friends and also a small group, whereas I am not that way. I typically only tend to have a small group of close friends. Although both the ENFJ and INFJ have strong leadership qualities, typically if I'm in a setting with an ENFJ, I typically will let the ENFJ lead. I kind of will take a step back and kind of let them lead because they're a little bit more natural at it than I am. If an ENFJ is not in the group setting, I might take charge and lead, but typically I let the ENFJ lead. I'm much more comfortable sitting back and kind of observing the environment. Well, that is it for my INFJ take on ENFJs. I hope you enjoyed, and I also hope it cleared up some stuff for some of you who might think that I'm an ENFJ. Hopefully this will clear up some things. Anyways, that's it, and have a wonderful day. Bye!